Hi guys, welcome back to Trucking with Purpose. Today I'm giving you a fast, clear breakdown on what's happening in the trucking industry right now, a quick DAT market update, plus two big stories out of California about 17,000 CDLs being cancelled and what looks like the first AB5 enforcement against trucking companies. So let's get into it. So let's start with a market update. Based on the latest DAT trend lines, spot loads posts are down, which tells us freight volume has softened. Rates are basically flat. We are not crashing, but we are not climbing either. Load to truck ratio dipped, especially for vans, meaning capacity is still pretty loose. What does that mean for drivers and small fleets? Well, that means we are in a balanced phase. This isn't peak season strength we expected, but it's not a full collapse either. And my advice as a fleet owner is stick to higher quality freight. Don't chase desperation loads. Keep your operation tight and protect your margins. And try the best you can to minimize your expenses and maximize your profits in this tough market for truckers. So now let's talk about section number 2 about California cancel 17,000 CDLs. What does this mean? Well, it means that California is canceling around 17,000 CDLs. And I want to mention these are non-domiciled CDLs after a federal audit found major issues with how those licenses were issued in the first place. So the federal government basically said that policy and procedures errors were discovered during the audit and licenses issued that didn't meet federal requirements. And they told California, fix this or you'll lose up to $160 million in federal funding, which is big money. And here is what it matters for us. So 17,000 CDLs, that's a pretty consistent number. So it's not small, it's not huge, but we might feel this in the capacity in the coming days. So it's really also important for carriers who are hiring or even owner-operators who are hiring drivers out of California. And talking about that, the first AB5 enforcement hits 3 companies. So you guys probably heard a little while ago, California adopted this AB5 rule, which means that drivers, even owner-operators, cannot be classified as independent contractors and they need to be W-2 employees. Well, it hasn't really been enforced until, well, we haven't heard until now. So California is reportedly taking its first AB5 enforcement action targeting 3 companies. AB5 uses the ABC test to decide if someone is an independent contractor, and honestly in trucking it's almost impossible to pass this test. This law has been background for some time now, but we've never really seen real enforcement. So here what it means. If you use owner-operators or drivers out of California, you might face compliance or reclassification pressure. And a lot of companies have been doing it recently, but they've been avoiding drivers and owner-operators from California, where people have to move to different states in order to be able to continue to work as a 1099 contractors. So now let's do a quick summary of what we just discussed. So you probably noticed the market is soft but stable. Protect your rates and avoid cheap freight. Number 2, if you hire CDL drivers from California or owner-operators, make sure their status is clean. So non-domiciled CDL drivers have been facing a lot of pressure and a lot of immigration enforcement lately on the road. So make sure your drivers, your owner-ops are all clean. And you might be watching the California lanes because between CDL cancellations and AB5 enforcement, capacity might tighten, meaning opportunities for higher rates, but also more compliance challenges. Stay proactive. These small regulatory shifts can turn into big market changes. The fleets that get ahead early always come out stronger. So guys, stay sharp monitor and look for these lanes, and you might profit from them for short term and long term. Obviously, the market is gonna correct itself, but for right now, keep an eye on those market, and you might see pretty good loads coming up. So thanks for watching Tracking with Purpose. If this update helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk on tracking, markets, and running a strong operation. Drop a comment also. Are you running into California? Have you felt any of these changes lately? So see you next time. Bye bye.